Norm, jump in. Norm's the editor-in-chief of a wonderful journal of community and well-being. I'll throw a link to it in the box. But I don't know, Norm, what are your thoughts? And if you have a question for Graham.
Well, first of all, thanks for the invitation and the opportunity to be here. I almost don't want to interrupt. Like I'm like, Graham, your work is just amazing, and I've learned so much just in a short period of time. And I was in a session this morning and learned a great deal. And I have so little to contribute on the level of space exploration, other than I can tell you, my wife and I have been together for over 50 years, and we still never let a full moon go by. We will go out on the back deck and just look in awe and have the conversations we had when we were teenagers. So I love that both the session this morning and in Graham's session and in your comments, Jeff, that you've all touched on humility and curiosity. And I would ask Graham, maybe just so I have an opportunity to engage directly with you, Graham. How do you keep that alive? How do you find that the otherwise drudgeries of life and those times when we find our own issues way more significant than they need to be, how do you keep up the curiosity to explore the kind of thinking you shared with us today?
Yeah, that's a great question. Carl Sagan once said that we were wonders and we are wonders still. Curiosity is human. It's human to want to explore and to learn more and to figure out more around us. And so, you meet young children, and it goes like go into like a school, elementary school, and speak to young children and ask them what they want to be when they grow up. And a lot of them, they want to be scientists, astronauts, explorers, firefighters, police officers, lawyers, doctors. There's so many different things they want to be, so many dreams that they have. And they're very curious. They always ask the best questions too. It's not until later that we start, beating people down with the drudgery of adult life that they start feeling that they have no future prospects and that they don't know what the future holds for themselves. I think in many ways, science itself is an act of humility. It's a tool that we've developed and that is continuing to develop. Science has changed very much through time and will still continue to change. There is no set scientific method. Even though we keep teaching that in schools, there really isn't one single approach. Science is a tool that changes through time. And part of the reason for that change is that the tool itself has humility built in. It has the potential to admit when you're wrong and to change your mind based on new evidence, to build new hypotheses that may one day become new theories as we develop new evidence and learn more about our place in the universe. And so those of us who studied science, not just scientists, not just researchers, but those who studied science and are literate in science, I think have a better understanding of what it means to be humble when it comes to our own knowledge. It's not take things necessarily on face value, but to expect a bit more. We mentioned during Tanya's session earlier this idea of skepticism, and I mentioned in the chat, there's a difference between skepticism and cynicism. In cynicism, it's like, oh no, that can't be. And, it's more removing the awe, removing the curiosity, whereas skepticism is maintaining the curiosity. And I would argue maintaining the awe of the beauty of everything out there. And so a little dose of skepticism is very healthy for all of us. And for myself, like I mentioned when I started my talk, I'm rather sick right now with COVID. I'm also extremely thankful right now. A lot of people have been lost to COVID during this pandemic. And honestly, my symptoms are very mild. I just recently went home for a short trip to Pennsylvania to see some family. And unbeknownst to me, before I got home, my uncle is in hospice care. He's been battling with cancer for some time. And he made the decision very recently that he did not want to die in the hospital. And so he's gone home and he's in hospice care. And I didn't realize that would be the last time I would see my uncle. I live far enough away that it's highly unlikely that I will make it back when he does leave this world. And so it was a profound moment for me, kind of thinking about, our mortality, our lives. But I think, through learning about science, through learning about astrobiology, through learning about meditation and stoicism and all these different things that I study, it's helped me to better embrace my own mortality. And I will say it was rather beautiful for me when I saw my uncle that last time, to hear him speak of the fact that he gets to see the sun set, he gets to watch some deer romping by the trees near his house, and that he knows the end is coming soon.
Well, I'm sorry to hear of your uncle's condition, but I do think that is pretty profound. It's as, to me, as vivid an example as pressing your face against the window of the airplane that you and Jeff were talking about. I 25 years ago, almost 30 years ago, I had the opportunity to begin working in the Middle East for a period of time, and I still remember standing at the Karnak Temple in Luxor and being absolutely moved by the history and the origins of so much of our lives and our modern world.